So for this Honda riding tip, we're going to be looking at some sticky topics on how to ride a flat corner fast. Probably the most controversial subject is riding a flat corner on a dirt bike and whether you lean the bike more than you or not. In road racing, they've got their wheels in line and the riders, the really fast ones, will lean more than the bike. In speedway, where the back wheel is actually sliding sideways on the dirt, they're actually leaning more than the bike as well. I don't understand why it should be different on a motocross bike. Not that I reckon you should lean further than the bike on a motocross track, but what I see from most of the top riders and from my own experience is that if you're leaning at least with the bike, then you're going to keep the bike more upright than it would be if you were leaning it more than you. That to me spells traction. It's going to also help the suspension to work better. Part of the benefit of leaning your body into the corner with the bike is that you can lean the bike more than you if you have to. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a tighter turn, and so if you lean the bike more than you, then you're going to get a little bit less traction. It gets the turn done a little bit quicker. On a two-stroke, you might have needed to really hook up the back brake and be quite tail happy around a flat corner. But on a modern four-stroke, you're actually faster to just separate it all out and brake in a straight line, turn with the wheels in line, and then straighten up so you can power hard in a straight line. Leaning with the bike also ties in with how you can use your outside foot peg around that corner. Ideally, you'd move your foot back a little bit so that you're standing on the ball of your foot. It's amazing how much power and control you have when you can drop your heel down or lift it up to give yourself a little bit more room to move around on the bike when it's getting a little bit sideways or a little bit bumped around. Your outside leg isn't going to be as bent either, and especially for tour riders, that means you're going to be able to have more power to push on that outside peg. Pushing on the outside peg around a flat corner is going to help you get traction. While we're at it, I believe that you want to get your foot back on the peg as soon as you can around a flat corner. The point of having your leg out is to help you to get the turn done. The moment you're starting to power out, if you've got your leg out, then your back wheel is more susceptible to sliding and getting affected by bumps more. If you can get your leg out, get the turn done, and then get it back on the peg when you're starting to power out, and it can just help your wheel to stay in line and hit those bumps and soak them up. The way that I try and ride is I try and use the whole track as much as possible. Try and set up nice and wide before a corner, and that means that you can still cut to the inside and then drift wide later if you like, but you're just opening up that hard turning part of the corner. It means you're not having to turn it shut, you can carry more speed through without worried about sliding out as much. By all means, if you've got someone right up your date, then don't open up the door and get wide before a corner. But I highly recommend that you make sure that you get wide before as many corners as you can, so that it's not as tight, you can carry more speed through it. If you can find any kind of traction and make the most of it, then it can be the biggest difference between improving your speed or not. It might be a hollow, it might be a bump that you're just coming in on a different angle to everyone else. When your suspension's compressed into something like that, you've got a little bit of extra traction. If you can hunt for things like that and really get some more turn down in those dips, then you don't have to turn as tight when there's less traction. You can get the bike more upright and you're not going to have so much danger of sliding out. If you want to improve your speed a lot without having too much of a risk of hurting yourself, I recommend separating out your braking from your turning, and when you're turning hard, really being brave enough to test your boundaries. If you lean too far, it's not that far to the ground. Most of the time you find out that you were actually afraid of nothing, and you can lean further than you realise you could. So just to recap, once you've set up nice and wide for a flat corner if you can, and then you've leaned as far as your bravery will allow you to, then you just need to finish it off by getting that foot back on and being careful with that initial turn of the power. Again, modern four-strokes, they just have that ability to just use a little bit of throttle. It helps to stand your bike up a little bit so that you can start powering harder safely. So I hope that some of these tips are going to help you with your flat corners. If you've got any awesome videos of you railing some flat corners, we'd love to see them. Fire them away to this website.